I check it to the mic, and a 1, 2, 3, and I check it to the mic.
Let's go. Let's go.
Check it to the mic, and
Come
a
on,
1,
come
2,
on,
3,
come on,
and we
come
check
on,
it to the
come on,
mic.
come on,
Babe, I'm here in my room, and I'm
Slap
listening
my
to
nuts.
my friend on the. Yeah. Hey guys, this is the Band for Band podcast. I'm Joey.
Official name?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Official name.
Official name. Band for Band podcast. Welcome. I'm Dave.
And like I said, I'm Joey. And that's Dave.
And I'm Dave. And that's Joey.
So we are so excited. We're coming to you live with a new setup. I think we've had a new setup literally every episode of the podcast. I think we just don't want to quit, you and me.
Got to keep dialing it in.
But this is going to be the best episode yet. And that's because we have headphones. That means we can hear ourselves through the headphones, so the audio quality is going to be so good through the whole thing, it's going to blow your mind.
Everything has changed.
So, Dave, what band are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about the band Hers, which is one of my personal favorites. We definitely do a little bit of trade-off, Joe and I, we're trading off with a favorite band of Joey, favorite band of mine, kind of a thing. But yes, the band Hers.
Band for band.
Band for band.
So let me tell you, well, no, you say what you were going to say.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, here's what I was going to say. I'll tell you when I came across this band. So I think the first time I was aware of this band would have been maybe sometime in 2019 because of you. I think
really?
Probably,
I didn't know that it was me that introduced you to Hers.
I've never heard of them. Maybe like What Once Was showed up on a Spotify playlist or something, but I didn't pay any attention. But yeah, 2019, it probably would have been, driving to a show or hanging out at your house or something, and it was on a playlist. That's when I was like, oh, Hers. Yeah.
Yeah, my first experience with Hers was in my journey to moving to Utah from Florida. There was a guy that I met in Florida that lived in Utah, and
his name was Johnny Hers.
That would be crazy. His name was Blake, and he introduced me to Hers, and he also told me about the place that I ended up living at for, I think, 4 or 5 years, known as Club 440, colloquially.
Shout out Club 440.
Yeah, good times there. Band practices there, but I lived there for 4 years, and this guy, Blake, he was only in my life for like 6 months or something. I don't think I've talked to him maybe like once since we haven't lived together. So my first introduction to Hers was December of 2016.
So you've known them basically since their first singles. They came out in, I think, 2016.
Yep, and it's interesting because when I was first introduced to Hers, the very first song that I heard was, let's see, I think the very first one I heard was Marcel. And then, but I remember that the one that was like the top of their playlist, or not their playlist, the top of like the charts for them, like the most listens and everything, was actually Speed Racer.
Really?
Which Speed Racer, it's kind of weird because those couple of years it was their most popular song, but I didn't get like super into Hers that first year or so, just because Speed Racer even still is probably like my least favorite Hers song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's play right now a little bit of What Once Was and then a little bit of Harvey, maybe their two most well-known songs, just so you can get an idea for what this band is.
Yes.
Hey everybody, this is Joey, and I actually can't do that because of copyright reasons. Thank you.
So that was a couple of tracks from Hers. Yeah, I mean, with Hers, for me, it started off mostly with Speed Racer, like I was telling you, but then they slowly kind of made their way into my rotation with my playlist and everything. And I think I started to get really obsessed with them when Songs of Hers came out, and then even more so with Invitation to Hers, which is their second album. Once Invitation to Hers came around, they definitely got solidified as one of my favorite bands that, at this point, not just a track or two on my playlist, but one of those bands that you go to the artist and you just shuffle all their songs, and yeah, that's kind of when they became one of my top favorite bands.
So can we talk a little bit about the makeup of Hers? Hers, it's a two-man band.
Two-man band.
Just a duo. And it's two guys, Stephen Fitzpatrick and Audun Laading.
Tough name.
Audun Laading, it's Norwegian. And Stephen Fitzpatrick is from England. The band, I think, is from England. So Stephen, he sings lead vocals, he plays guitar. Audun plays bass and sings backing vocals. Stephen was also a drummer, but typically when they're performing live, the band uses drum machine. And a MacBook, which is pretty cool.
I have conflicting feelings about the drum machine as a drummer.
Yeah.
But
normally I'm surprised because you love drum forward bands as a drummer.
I do. With these guys, it does work. Both of them were just so talented, and so I think that having such simple drums allows kind of for them to shine in their own respects. But at the same time, I listen to their music and I just think, man, if there was just a slamming drummer on this track, like
I kind of feel the same way. Like it's definitely the drums don't shine on any song for me, but it does.
They can't.
They lay down a nice beat that lets them, show what they're made of, show their stuff, strut their. Yeah, anyway, you get it.
I do wonder though, like, a little bit if there was like a great drummer on the tracks, like I wonder if with all the crazy guitar, with all of his vocal range and everything, and with Audun's crazy bass lines, like, would it be too much? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it could. I was kind of thinking another band that you love that this band sort of reminds me of is L1011.
Love L1011.
Another duo. Another, really heavy on creative bass and guitar lines. And they have very cool drumming, but I don't think it competes. I mean, but they're only a duo as well. I don't know.
The drumming, you don't think the drumming of L1011 competes?
As in, like, it doesn't compete with the bass for your attention. Like, they both, they don't, like, clash, and it doesn't sound bad and messy.
It doesn't clash. I might disagree with you. I think that the drums of L1011 are, like, they're some of my favorite. I love that drummer.
No, I mean they're really good. Just that they don't like you were saying. You're wondering if having drums would like mess with the song for Hers.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. So yeah, the interesting thing about L1011 with this though is they are missing vocals. There's no vocals with L1011, and so maybe that's just a general rule. Is like if you want to make something more impressive, you by rule you have to cut something else out.
Maybe so, yeah. You just and you listen to different bands for different things, right? And maybe this just isn't a drum band.
Yeah. So Hers though with Stephen Fitzpatrick, it just blows me away. Like watching them play live, insane guitar player.
Yeah.
If you cannot watch a live video of what once was. Seeing him play that guitar and then with his vocal range on top of that.
I mean, singing and playing together is hard enough as it is. It's one of the hardest things you can do.
Arguably the craziest vocal range I think I've heard in like modern indie music.
I think preparing for this episode was my first time listening to like all of their music. I've heard songs, but I haven't ever just sat down whole album. So this time I thought it was really interesting. I feel like he kind of sounds like Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. Is that Alex Turner? This is going to be really embarrassing. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, he kind of has an Arctic Monkeys, like he's singing in that really low baritone register, and it's really cool. He does a lot of like stuff.
Let me love you tonight.
So I wanted to ask, so on that same topic, Audun is a really great bassist too.
Insane bass
There's
lines.
One like throwaway interlude on
Cops theme.
Cops theme. Yeah, it's crazy. Some crazy nasty bass work.
Insane bass work.
Yeah.
And then he'll sneak in like some stuff on some other songs too, like on the bridge of He Don't Want Her to Know. He's got some insane bass lines. And it's so fun watching these two play like in live in live settings on YouTube and everything, just because you can just tell they're so talented and they're just having a good time.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway from watching some of the live ones you sent me. Is they seem like they're loving it. They're having so much fun up there. They're smiling. They're dancing around and really like getting into it, moving with their instruments, which is like so fun to watch.
Yeah, really quirky dudes too. They're very obsessed with Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And it like plays a huge role in their music making and like in some of their music videos too. I can't remember the exact song, but there's this one music video where they like break into a house after playing a concert. And just like the way the video is shot, like at the end they're like coming out of the house and it's like all foggy and it just looks so like Twin Peaks and like these quirky situations like in the video. And yeah, very interesting, the obsession with Twin Peaks.
I know. I was doing more research into that, and I guess like the whole... So have you seen like...
I've never seen Twin Peaks. I do know the director, David Lynch.
Yeah. So there's a fake like in-universe sitcom in Twin Peaks called Invitation to Love.
Oh.
And it's like kind of a meta thing where like sometimes the plot of Invitation to Love is like mirroring the plot of what's happening in Twin Peaks. And like people will be watching, it'll be on in the background, there'll be like plot points that line up with what's happening in the show. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But their second album is called Invitation to Hers, which is just straight up based on Invitation to Love. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, unless you have something to say. I was
No,
going to
go
ask
for
you,
it.
do you have any specific memories associated with this album? You know, anything where you're like, I love this specific song because it reminds me of this?
I mean, I would definitely say that like a lot of the music reminds me of the kind of the early days dating my now wife, but that I don't think that it's not that specifically isn't like super, I mean, tied to my love of the music, but I would definitely say that man, I don't know. I just when I listen to the music, I'm just reminded of like the good times, you know, just hanging out with friends, and the music kind of has like an interesting vibe to it where it doesn't demand like a whole lot out of you as a listener, but it's also very striking and very engaging when you let it be. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I think at first pass, I kind of wrote off this band as like, you know, it's just sort of like Mac DeMarco wannabes and just kind of like background music.
Mac DeMarco is a Hers wannabe.
I mean, he came first.
He came first. I know. I'm just messing. But at the same time, they're the GOAT.
But then, you know, I think diving more into their music, I think there's a lot more there than it appears at first glance. Yeah.
There's a lot. And the thing that is so striking about Hers' music is it elicits so many different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to it, there's a nostalgic feeling, which you can tell from like maybe some of their Beach Boys influences. Like it makes you feel like you're remembering like a summer in high school or something, a summer that you didn't have, like that didn't actually exist, but one from like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to add in a couple bands that have influenced Hers. You got older bands like the Smiths. There's a big influence on. I mean, the Smiths are a big influence on all kind of like jangly indie rock, but also Mac DeMarco started, you know, putting out music in like 2012, and he's been, honestly, I think Mac DeMarco will be remembered as being much more influential than he's kind of thought of now, because there's so many bands that like sound like Mac DeMarco now after he's, you know, like his first couple albums, Salad Days and Freaking Out the Neighborhood and all those. Anyway, Ariel Pink, big influence on them. Also, on their second album, which I don't think I'd ever really listened, I mean, I had listened to all the way before. I got a lot of The Cure and XTC. I don't know if you listen to a lot of XTC, but
not a whole lot.
They,
I get The Cure though. I do get that. Yeah.
There's something in the way they, like the album sounds so bright and lush, and there's so many more like textures on their second album than the first one. It sounds very very rich.
Have you ever seen the movie Sing Street before?
Yeah.
So Sing Street, there's, for listeners that have not seen the movie, basically it's like this kid in middle school in Ireland, or maybe he's in high school, and he makes a band to impress a girl, and then this fictional band that he makes goes through like a million different sounds of him like discovering music.
Yeah.
And so the way that...
Great film, by the way.
Oh, amazing film.
Great film.
A 10 out of 10. I could not recommend it enough. We could have a whole other episode on Sing Street.
And in fact,
maybe we will. Yeah, we probably will. But there's this part of Sing Street where he's going through his The Cure phase, right? And they say, and it's like his brother guiding him through this genre journey or whatever. And he's like, think happy, sad. Think happy, sad.
Yeah.
And hers is so happy,
It's
sad.
very happy, sad.
And The Cure is so happy, sad.
That's a great comparison. Anyway, yeah, lots of influences on their sound, but to me, I feel like their first album sounds like influences, but their second album sounds very them. I mean, it's like, they've had their sound the whole time, but the second album is where, of course, I'm referring to Invitation to Hers. That's the one where, like, these guys are definitely, to me, their own band with their own sound and very distinct from their contemporaries like, I don't know, Van Sire or Vacations, who are, bands putting out similar music around the same time. I feel like that second album is where they distinguish themselves.
For sure. Yeah, and really, like, it's interesting that, like what you're saying, Joe, about how, like, the takes, or what am I trying to say? It's interesting what you're trying to say about how like the influences are so clear. I agree with you in a sense that you can pick up different stuff from different bands. However, at the same time, the first few times that I had listened to hers sounded like nothing I had ever heard before. Just the combination of these crazy guitar melodies like you hear on What Once Was, and the crazy vocal range, and then it was so mesmerizing to me the first time I had heard it, because to me it didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard before. Yeah.
I think seeing them live too kind of helps cement like what a unique band they are, because their setup, just having a duo, and then the way they play off each other, and the guitar and the bass together, I don't know, very cool, very unique sound.
What was your experience going through their catalog this time?
I was going to talk about it. That's a great question. So, so looking at the first album EP, Songs of Hers, I knew What Once Was, and I think for me that's still my favorite off that album. It's just such, all their songs are very catchy, but that one has, the most unbelievable hook, and it's an instrumental hook. It's that guitar riff is so good.
So good. It looks so hard to play too.
Yeah.
Marcel and Cool With You are also amazing.
I like those ones. I really liked You Don't Know This Guy, actually. That was one of my favorites off this album. I think it's a long one. It's like 5 or something minutes. Am I thinking of the right song?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's slower. I like that one a lot. It was cool to dive in. I think my least favorite off that one was probably Cool With You.
Really? I love Cool With You.
I don't know. I think it was too lo-fi for me. I just don't love
I'm more of a lo-fi enjoyer than you.
You are.
But Cool With You, that's one that like I always sing to my wife, because it's like, you'll say, hey, is it cool with you? Like if I do this, and so it always comes out in the stimming.
There's really no purpose in like judging a genre that you don't enjoy. I couldn't rate if I was like, oh, I don't like emo music, for example. I do like some emo music, just as an example. If I was like, I don't like emo, and I listened to an emo album, it was like, 0 out of 10. It's like, well, yeah, of course. So I don't know. Just for my taste, I would say Cool With You, but still great EP. And it is interesting though, because Cool With You, there's nothing else on that specific album that sounds like that one. You know what I mean? There's nothing else that goes to that level of like lo-fi chill. Then Invitation to Hers, so good, great album. First song, Harvey, very cool. I was like, wait a minute. I do know this one. I've heard this one before too. Great riff. I think my favorites on this one were Manny's Smile, That one sounds, I'd have to listen to it again, but almost like tropical to me. It sounds like a tropical breeze. And then, right, She Needs Him. I really like She Needs Him. So those are my favorites off of Invitation to Hers.
I also love Love on the Line.
Yeah. Is that the one with like the phone call?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like falling in love with like a love hotline worker.
Yeah. So fun.
But that one, oh man, just like it has that like 90s kind of jingle to it kind of sound that like on a TV commercial or like a you call into a business and you know a jingle pops up and it kind of has like that vibe, but it's so catchy and it's such an earworm.
Yeah, very earwormy.
But would you say that your enjoyment of Hers it has gone up?
Absolutely,
this time around.
Definitely. I think. I mean, I want to listen, especially to Invitation to Hers again, and I think I will on the drive home. Even it's really good. It's such a great album.
Yeah, they're one of the few bands, you know, that for me, and I don't know if your experience was this level of good, but yeah, for me, I can just listen to the whole artist and be content. Like I don't need to pick and choose like I do have my favorites still, you know what I mean? But I can listen to everything that they've put out and I'm not skipping songs.
One thing that I especially want to do is listen to more of their live stuff. I only watched a couple of the videos you sent over, but they sound amazing live.
They're so fun too.
Yeah, great energy and really good sound. But sadly, I mean, you can't talk about Hers without talking about the way the band ended. And one of the reasons why it's so easy to listen to their whole catalog front to back is because they only ever put out 2 albums because their time was cut tragically short,
with a couple singles in between. But yeah, after playing at the Rebel Lounge in Arizona, they were driving between that venue and their next one on their tour, and drunk driver crossed over either a highway or an interstate and hit them head on and killed the band and killed their tour manager in the middle of the tour. And man, I still remember the day that it happened, like very clearly.
Really?
Like I remember, it's weird, you know, like there's not a lot of stuff that like I remember super, super clearly like this, but I remember the exact moment that I learned about it and just, man, being so bummed about it. 'Cause I mean, just so much talent, you know? But yeah, definitely lived a shorter life than they deserved.
Yeah, I remember probably you telling us about the band and about what happened, and their story has stuck with me ever since then. I feel it so viscerally, even though, like, you know, obviously not as big of a fan of this band as Dave was. I didn't know when it happened. I heard about it secondhand, but it's always felt very heavy to me, and I think any musician probably feels the same way, because for me, I mean, I hate driving just in general, but I feel like when you are in a band and you're on tour and you're driving to all these shows, you're like taking your life into your hands every time you get in the car. I mean, cars are so dangerous, and like you think about it, like when you're in a van with your friends driving somewhere, I mean, like that could happen to you, right? Anywhere you go, one drunk driver is all it takes, and I don't know. I'm like, man, that could have been my band, right? I've driven through Arizona before. I don't know. It just feels like, gosh, like, I don't know. It's very fragile to be driving around that much.
Yeah, Joe, you are the number one hater of driving that I know.
I hate driving.
Joe hates driving.
I hate cars. I like cars.
Joe will avoid driving at night at all costs.
If I can leave when it's bright outside, absolutely will do that instead.
A guy always talking about safety. You have that hot take too about how driver's license are too easily given.
That's absolutely correct. Oh my gosh, I literally in the last like 2 or 3 days, I've had close calls that were 100% not my fault, just because the other person driving was like literally not paying attention.
Yeah, I remember you put it into perspective for me one time when you were like, yeah, like if you think about like a 16-year-old operating, a couple ton weight of heavy machinery, you get worried about it. But then you put that same 16-year-old behind like a 2025 Dodge Ram, whatever, and you're like,
have fun.
That's good.
Go crazy.
Go for it.
You give him
you're definitely not going to like party and drink and drive, right?
Yeah. Hope you don't.
Hope you don't.
And it's like, you get max like 40 hours of training anyway. But
different discussion.
Different discussion, but still and when I'm going to get back on the discussion. Whenever I'm driving around, I don't know if you guys do this, look around on the highway. If you're just like in your car driving, look at the other drivers. Like 50 to 60% of the people out there are not even looking they're like on their phones. It's crazy. It's madness.
True.
Anyway, phones and drunk driving. And anyway, I'm a little bit heated, but I got to calm back down because it's not the point. Hers is the point. And their lives were snuffed out by a drunk driver. It really messes me up. And the more I think about it, it just feels so unfair and so cruel. And I know as a musician, it scares me because it's like, I've been on long car trips to shows before. And if you've been on any sort of tour, you have too. I don't know why, logically, my brain is like, it's weird to be sad when like a musician dies. You don't know him. Right?
It's weird to be sad when just anybody that you don't know dies.
Like an actor or a musician or anyways.
It's
like
what's it called? Parasocial relationship.
Parasocial, yeah. It's like why should I care? I think if you're a human, you have empathy. You feel for their family and like, oh my gosh, that's so tragic. But like, sometimes it feels really sad. Like and I don't know. Why do you think that is?
Oh man, Joe, I don't know. It's hard because musicians die, people die, everybody dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wonder if this is like how, Lynyrd Skynyrd fans felt when their plane crashed, or how Buddy Holly fans felt when his plane crashed, or
Nirvana,
or Kurt Cobain, when he died in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Or the list goes on, but for me, it's not so much. It is a sad thing, like when somebody that is later on in life dies too. That's a musician, like
Ozzy Osbourne,
just barely, or even like Taylor from Foo Fighters, the drummer.
Yeah,
but even he was like 55 or something. Like he was pretty old still, you know what I mean? But the thing that's sad about these guys, which I think is pretty comparable to, some of these younger musicians that we're talking about that died, is the fact that they are young. They were
so young.
They were incredibly young.
I think it hurts. On the one hand, it's like, if you're a fan of this band, you've spent hours and hours of your life with them. They don't know you, but you kind of know them through their music, right? You've listened to their albums dozens of times. You've spent so much time with their music and listening to their lyrics and like feeling like you're connecting with this band and them kind of being the soundtrack to parts of your life. And so that kind of hurts because it's like, it is parasocial, but it's kind of true. Like if you're affected by work that an artist made, you're kind of connected to their soul in a little way.
It's true.
And then I think the other side is you feel the tragedy of being deprived of any more work from that artist, like they're not going to make any more music. And that's so sad because, you loved, and obviously that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that they're gone, right? And their families, anyway, that's the tragedy. But it's also sad that they won't be making any more work.
I have so many complicated feelings about this because, oh man, it's like the thing that's crazy about their work is their death adds so much art to it.
Yeah.
Too. So like it's really weird. Like I was looking back through their catalog, they have so many songs talking about death.
Yeah.
They have so many songs about
even
reminiscing.
Like what once was.
What once
which is
was.
Like crazy prophetic. Because
super.
Just that title, What Once Was, that's the biggest song from a band that died early. That's so crazy.
And then Invitation to Hers, the album art is like a bouquet on like a dark satin cloth.
Yeah.
Looks like, something you'd see on like a coffin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all, and even their music, like all of their music is kind of like this mixture, like we talked about, like this happy, sad, this life and death. And to tell a personal story about all this too. I can't remember if you were there for this, but Hers, they were actually on that tour that they died on. They were supposed to be coming to Salt Lake City to play
Really?
shortly after. Or maybe it was they had just barely gone. I can't remember which it was, but anyway, I remember being bummed that I knew I was never going to go to a Hers concert. You know what I mean? And so they passed away. I want to say it was like in May, and I was right when they passed. That was like when my fandom was peaking too. Like that was like I was way into them. So my now wife for my birthday party threw me a Hers concert. Do you remember that? Were you there for it?
I don't know if I was there for that.
Maybe you were deep in the trenches of journalism work in college.
Yeah, it would have been like
it's 2019.
Fall 2019.
So fall 2019. It was like the funniest thing because anybody else is going to be like, wow, that sounds like crazy. Like in the sense that does not really sound like a fun birthday. Basically, my wife, she got us matching Hers t-shirts and she made a playlist on YouTube of like all of their live concerts. And then she invited people over and we just like...
That is so sweet.
We just had a Hers concert like in the home. And it was the most interesting thing because it was the ultimate testament to Hers.
Yeah.
With the party, we were celebrating birth and death at the same time.
Wow. And man, you kind of touched on this a little bit too, and not to be like flippant about their death either, but in a way, them dying also kind of like launched their music to be way more popular than it was before. You probably know more about this than I do, but like after they died, I started seeing stuff on like TikTok and on YouTube, and it's like they kind of have this mystique about it, like the band that died early, the band whose future was cut short. It's like very dramatic, you know?
The thing that's crazy is all of it is so Twin Peaks too.
Yeah.
It's all that same kind of like feeling to it where it's like mysterious and I don't know, like there's all of it.
Do you feel like that's accurate? Like that their music became more popular after they died?
For sure.
Yeah.
I definitely do. I mean, looking at the show, the very last show that they played, I don't know if you knew this, but in Joey and I's previous band, Munin, the Rebel Lounge, where that was their last show, we were in talks to play at the Rebel Lounge.
That's right, yeah.
Like that's how they were bigger than us, you know what I mean? Like this was a tour or whatever, but like, I mean, they weren't playing like huge shows when they died. Like the Rebel Lounge, it's like a nice like mid-sized venue, but it's nothing like it's something that like a big local band would play. You know what I mean? But it's nothing that like a touring band, like a big touring band would regular at.
Right now they're at about
it's like 4 million,
4.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is that's big. That's like playing main stage at festivals, you know. Yeah. And
when they passed, they were probably around, if I had to guess, they were probably around 100 to 200,000 monthly listeners.
That is crazy. Yeah, it's weird to think about, like, I don't know. But also, I mean, a great legacy to leave behind. So young. I mean, to have, like, 2 albums that are that good, that many people still love, and to, have your work, like, touch that many people's lives, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and definitely their legacy lives on, you know? Like, one thing that was awesome is there were, like, a couple of singles that did come out after they died. Like, there was a cover that they did, and just people still had the opportunity to engage with it, and it's like, it almost kind of feels like some characters like in a movie where it's like, what other secrets do they have like waiting for us? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain that, but
I think another way that their legacy lives on is in bands that they inspired, which is, not a small list, but one of the bands that I think is very inspired by Hers is a band that we know, a band that we're pretty close to, Indigo Waves.
Oh yeah, they definitely do have some similar vibes for sure.
I've never asked, like Austin or Matt for sure, but I feel like there's definitely some influence from Hers there. I mean, they're also a duo. They also, kind of a similar setup, guitar and bass. They have more synthesizer stuff going on. But anyway, very definitely influence. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. There's some definite influence from Hers to that band. Also, I think there's like other bands who are carrying the torch. I'd say Lunar Vacation. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they have kind of a Hersy sound. Anyway, what would you say? What are some other bands that are kind of carrying the Hers torch?
Oh man, I mean, I think the ones that you said around the beginning were pretty good examples of like
Van Sire
and like we were listening before this started to Castle Beat, and they definitely have some Hers influence. I mean, the thing is like we talk about lo-fi and how, I mean, lo-fi has this big influence on music now. And I think that you were saying, for example, that Cool With You, like it didn't really resonate with you because of that lo-fi-ness. But think about like when lo-fi like actually got more popular.
Yeah, that album was like what, 2017?
That was in 2017 that album came out. I wouldn't say lo-fi got really popular until like 2020.
Yeah.
And so it's like
the lo-fi study girl.
Yeah,
like
and
thing,
when we think of like lo-fi, I think the biggest influence that we think of, or the biggest thing that is a part of lo-fi, is just slow drum machine.
Yeah.
And like having drum machines and having like, kind of a high fidelity sound wasn't like a super common thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now it is.
That's true. Lots of bands have that sound, or just lots of solo projects, bedroom pop, kind of play around with the lo-fi deal. If you're in a band, or a band that sort of has Hers influence directly, or maybe just sounds like they do, we'd love to hear about it. You can hit our line in the comments on whatever this is on. But I'm curious. I'd love to hear some more examples.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, definitely rest in peace, Hers,
Rest in peace.
You can't separate the art from the artist. I mean, every time I listen to them, it like puts me back in the present moment.
Yeah.
Reminds me to enjoy life.
Yeah.
It gives a very unique characteristic to their art.
Yeah. Knowing they're passed away, I think adds to that happy, sad thing too, because you're like, man, this music is so great, but you can't help but remember, what happened to the band. That's, I don't know, very heavy stuff. But yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Thanks for the music. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the pod. We appreciate it.
A little melancholic this time around.
A little melancholic, but a little bit happy, just like their music.
A little bit happy, a little bit sad. But give a listen to Hers if you haven't before, and tell us what you think. I will stand by their music forever.
Thanks again for listening. And you can follow us on Instagram at Band for Band Pod, I think. And you can subscribe to us on Patreon if you want the bonus eps. We got a couple of good ones on there, which at the current moment of recording, I do not know what they are, but let me add an annotation right here with my voice later that will tell you what they are.
Weenos.
Weenos. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.